Well, good afternoon. Today we're going to finish talking about the limit laws, and really they aren't very terribly difficult other than they just look awful, but the work is pretty simple. All right, the first one's called a constant multiple. What it's really talking about here is that if we're finding the limit of something, and you can see this constant term here in front of the function, we can take that multiply constant term and just move it out front. Do the limit first, and then multiply the answer times that constant. Right, next one's called the product rule. And again, what we're looking at is we're trying to find the limit of two different functions being multiplied together. So since they both are using x approaching a, what we can do is we can split them into two completely separate problems and multiply their answers together, doing each one individually. Same thing with quotient rule, works the same way. If we're trying to find the limit as x approaches a of two things that are divided by each other, we can find the individual numerator and denominator limits and then divide those answers at the end. Same thing with power rule. If we have a function raised to a power, we can first find the limit of that function, then raise to the power. All right, so let's look at a couple of examples. All right, first one here, we're looking at the limit as x approaches 2 for the function g of x raised to the third power. So essentially what we get to do here is we get to find the limit first. We can start by finding the limit as x approaches 2 of the g of x function. Then we can take the answer we get from that, then raise to the third power. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's find out what the answer is, first off, for the limit of g of x as x approaches 2. So that would be 3 times 2 minus 1. I want to raise that to the third power. So again, I'm just saving the power till later. So the 3 times 2 is 6, minus 1 makes 5. And now raise to the third power. Again, the work itself is very straightforward and simple. It's just the getting used to the new symbols and the new way things look with limits, because they look terrible. But again, the work itself is not that bad. All right, let's try another one. Again, this one's got multiple rules in it. We got the subtraction rule, the difference rule, and we've got this quotient rule happening all at the same time. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to find the limit as x approaches 2 for each of these answers individually, and then we'll do all the combining that's being asked here. So first thing I'm going to do is in my numerator, I'm going to find the limit of f of x as x approaches 2. So that would be 3 times 2. And I'm going to minus then the limit of x approaching 2 for the g of x function. So that would be negative 2 plus 1. And then divided by the h of x function, which is a constant function and is always 4 no matter what. Now I can do each part individually. The first part, 3 times 2 makes 6. And then over here we got negative 2 plus 1, which would make a negative 1, and then divided by 4. Numerator, negative 6 minus negative 1, 7, and then divided by 4. There's our answer. Like I said, the actual computations are not very difficult. It's all just about getting used to these limit symbols, used to the notation, and again, the work shouldn't really be all that tough today. All right, good luck.